Welcome to another video, family. Part 4 of the Dulles brothers, where I'll be discussing their dastardly deeds. Okay, John Foster Dulles and his brother Allen Dulles of the CIA. Okay, as I talked about in part 3, how the State Department and the CIA worked together in order to create the national security state in 1947. We're going to finish up with the Dulles brothers with this part 4. I was led by the Most High. It's funny how the Most High can lead you to certain information. Okay, and I was led to the source for the first parts 1, 2, and 3. And for this fourth part, I'm going to be reading excerpts from an essay that's titled Allen Dulles and the Birth of the CIA by Hugo Turner. Okay, I'm not going to read it all, but what really grabbed me spiritually about this piece was it talks about it a lot. And I want you to think when I read this these excerpts I want you to think about what the it is behind the Dulles brothers and the so-called CIA. Okay, because we know that the CIA later they went into Vietnam. They were using the tribal leaders in Vietnam and in the Golden Triangle to grow opium and heroin that they were giving to the U.S. American GIs, stringing them out on heroin. The heroin population exploded as a result of this, and they went on from Vietnam, which was Cardinal Spellman's War, the Catholic Cardinal from New York. From the Golden Triangle, they went to the Golden Crescent later when they were financing the Mujahideen, and they created these other Arab terrorist groups in Afghanistan in the Golden Crescent. From the Golden Crescent, they went to Colombia, okay, and they were financing the Cali cartel and other cartels in Colombia. And then from there, now it's the opioid epidemics, okay? And for those who don't know, heroin, opium was created by the Germans, okay? Bayer. They created opium, and if you don't know, heroin, opium, cocaine, crack cocaine, opioids, they're all doorways to open persons up to demonic oppression and possession. So that's the the link between opiates and the spirit world. Okay, so let me continue now with Allen Dulles and the Birth of the CIA by Hugo Turner. Okay, the impact that the CIA had on America itself. The CIA managed to infiltrate and corrupt every sector of a nation already grown ruthless through its imperial history of slavery, genocide, rampant monopoly capitalism, and endless conquests. The CIA turned doctors into biowarfare and mind control experts. It turned the media into global weapon of psychological warfare. It brought over thousands of Nazi scientists to work for the military-industrial complex. Universities became recruitment grounds for the CIA and fronts for its covert war. Historians were falsifying history on the CIA payroll, and history itself became classified, with Americans raised on uplifting fairy tales instead. The CIA destroyed the careers of honest journalists and discredited serious researchers. The big foundations became conduits of CIA funds. It bribed writers, artists, musicians, and intellectuals. It promoted abstract expressionism. It set up think tanks, magazines, radio networks. It manipulated Hollywood to churn out propaganda. It gained control of labor unions. It bribed and blackmailed Congress. It infiltrated the judiciary, the police, the Justice Department, the Immigration Service, the FBI, drug enforcement. It oversaw the global dope trade, the global arms trade, and funded fascists and terrorists around the globe. It recruited the CEOs of the Fortune 500. It controlled hundreds of billions of dollars in off-the-book funds hidden in offshore tax havens and shell companies, enabling it to manipulate the global economy. It placed its loyalists in every branch of the government, the Pentagon, the State Department, so that soon every U.S. president was surrounded by CIA loyalists without even realizing it, and even the Pentagon had lost track of who was on the CIA payroll. Each branch of the military set up a massive support system for the CIA, and so when American Air Force bombers were destroying some Vietnamese villages, they were often, without even realizing it, acting as part of the CIA's Phoenix program, to name just one example. It created the special forces and directed their missions. It set up private intelligence firms, private security firms, corporate consulting firms, and private mercenary armies to act as fronts and offer lucrative employment to ex-CIA officers. It created banks, airlines, tech companies. The CIA was instrumental in the creation of the internet and is moving to gain full control of social media, censoring sites that expose them and tell the truth. A long series of coups and covert wars Eisenhower and the Dulles brothers began to launch. Even before 1952, they had been rigging the 1948 Italian election, the brutal war on Greece's partisans to put in a fascist junta, brutal covert wars in China, the Philippines, Korea, and later Vietnam. There had been the covert wars in the Baltic, in Poland, in Ukraine, and Albania. Enough wars to fill a library full of books on CIA crimes. Around the world, the CIA was running a global assassination program. It had set up black sites at home and abroad where torture, mind control experiments, and chemical and biological warfare agents were tested on POWs. All over the world, it was bribing and blackmailing politicians. It was training military and police to wage war on their own people around the world. No one knows how many were tortured and disappeared. Okay. What was it? It was the fallen angel and Nephilim bloodlines and spirits who had infiltrated and operated through these individuals. As I said in part 3, 200 individuals, 200 matches the number of fallen angels that came down on Mount Hermon and began to intermingle with human women, creating the Nephilim bloodlines. Okay, so that's going to end my series on the Dulles brothers. Stay tuned for the next video where I'm going to be getting even deeper. Oh, by the way, the CIA is AIC backwards. I talked about AIC that was created in 1915 in New York. CIA, okay, is this AIC backwards. So just for your little information for you, okay? Have a nice day.